Ingrid Maria Karin Jacobi was my maiden name. I've been married twice, as a matter of fact, because my first husband was killed in one of the last air raids in Germany. And I got married again with my second husband. We applied for leaving Germany, which was in chaos at the end. And we had the chance of applying to Australia, Canada, USA. And the Australian government came up first with the offer for us to migrate to this country. So we accepted that. And it was quite an interesting journey on a tiny ship that is, the Worcester Victory was a troop transporter, American one, and it was about 8,000 tons. A passenger liner is anything around 40 to higher than that. So 8,000 tons, you can imagine, is relatively small. But we got on with it through the Suez Canal and then through the what's the sea called? Arabian Sea. Yeah. You're right. Well, in the Arabian, it was interesting too in Aden. The locals, they were offering a lot of souvenirs, etc. But of course, none of the migrants had any money. So there was some exchange. They sent something up to the ship and people put some goods in and so on. My son, young son, was 4.5 years old, and he was offered a banana. Well, he had never seen a banana in his life before, because that's an imported fruit, and of course it was not available during the war. So he was not going to eat it. I said, I'll peel it for you. No, it was too dangerous, that banana. Well, we were in the Arabian Sea when at the night a storm came up. And I myself, with one child and 2 other women with small children, had the only cabin next to the galley. In the galley, everything became loose that was not nailed down. And with every move of the ship, the whole content of its crockery and pots and pans got loose and went whoosh to one side and back to the other side. And most of the refugees traveling, they were from the Baltic countries, by the way, and unmarried single people. But there were the husbands of the women who were in my cabin as well, and they were very frightened. They had never been at sea. They had never experienced a real storm. And although it was prohibited for men to come into our country, but they came. They wanted to be with their wives and children. So that worked more marvelously. The next morning, my husband got hold of me and said, no, before you get seasick, or I was seasick, he said, instead of being seasick, you go up on the top, what's it, the top? Deck. And I thought, oh, well, I'll try it anyway. I got on the top deck, and that was magic. There you could see the flying fish. Now, if you've never seen flying fish, they are intriguing, how they come out of the water, fly a certain distance, and then they go down again. And yes, I was able to watch the flying fish, with the result that I forgot about my seasickness, and I recovered. The next stop, I think, was Colombo. And the stopovers were not spectacular, but still there were other countries. So there was some interest in it. We got to Perth and stopped there for, I think, one afternoon only, like tourists. And then we were taken through the Australian Bight, which was just as lively as the Arabian Sea, and we came to Sydney. In Sydney, the ship was stopped, and this was opposite the Luna Park. A big face laughing, all in gold and red and so on. Well, that was interesting. Now, we arrived in the morning. Officials came on the ship and probably checked papers or whatever. Now, some questions were put to us. How do you like Australia? Well, we were still standing on the ship. We hadn't been in Australia. How do you like Australia? Which team are you backing? What's backing? Well, we found out that no team, we didn't know any teams. But that was the introduction to Australian culture.